All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So this afternoon, we are introducing a company called Stryde Saving Solutions, or Stryde, and we have Jason Ziccarelli that is going to go over the program with us and give us a walkthrough, tell us everything about it. I've already actually had the pleasure of Jason taking Melissa and I actually through the program. Really, really excited. They have some great services here, and what they do is just really phenomenal, and how we can go in and talk to a business owner and show them some areas of savings and some certain exemptions that they may not be aware of. And we're talking some pretty big money here from what I've seen. Of course, it's going to depend on who the business is, but overall, I know I'm really excited about it. Vince and I have been talking a lot about it. And we're just excited to have them. It's going to be a really great opportunity for everybody here, and we're going to be able to go and help business owners even more with this service. So, Jason, I will go ahead and let you take over.
Thank you very much. I'll check here real quick. You're able to hear me on audio?
Yes, we are.
Excellent. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Even better. Okay. Well, thank you, guys. In fact, it's 6 o'clock here Eastern, and I think on our side there was a little bit of confusion. We were planning for 3 o'clock Eastern instead of 3 o'clock Pacific. So my assistant had some allergy shots that she had to be on, and so I am running the slides today. And generally, I just run my mouth, not my mouth and the slides. So I'll apologize in advance for any delay, as I tend to pace around while doing my calls. And then, of course, we'll likely run into transitions where the slides are not keeping up with what it is I'm thinking I want to talk about. So, as we said a moment ago, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about Stryde, who we are and what we do, and how by virtue of working with Stryde, we facilitate, create more comprehensive opportunities for you guys. I keep hearing what sounds like almost a foghorn in the background. Are you guys hearing that as well?
Yes, I think I took care of that. Sorry about that, Jason.
Okay, no problem. So when we talk about what we're able to do with Stryde and what it is we seek to accomplish with, through, and for you guys, I think it's important to start by really giving you just a little bit of background on our company, and then what it is we've done with your peers. And when I say your peers, I mean individuals seeking to do business with the business community and business owner community. So we've been doing what we do for going on 16 years now. At the close of this year, we will have been doing it for 16 years. You're going to learn what the it is as we work our way through the call today. And we've had a great deal of success. Making many of your peers, or working through your peers through, I guess collectively, I shouldn't say making, but collectively helping them realize the success they'd hope to, and making ourselves, of course, successful in the process. Naturally, we look forward to working with each and every one of you as you seek to enhance your opportunities and your cash flow for yourselves. And in doing same, we look forward to having you guys on our Friday call, a call we call our Mastermind call. We run it every Friday. We have for just over a decade now. And for all the bold statements I make today, which you're going to hear on the Friday call, is that reality is even better than the bold statements that I make. We're going to bring your peers on every single week, as we have, I said, for over a decade, and you get to hear from them with regard to their success. So every year, we will choose several hundred, generally 400, 500, 600 advisors from the field to put on the weekly calls. Never the same person twice, and they'll tell the stories about how our platform has put them in a position to make more money than they ever had before in their career. And, of course, then my objective is to have each and every one of you on our Friday calls as well. So with that in mind, the key to being successful, of course, is to understand the goals, needs, and desires of the people that we work for. And when I say work for, I can say work for, I can say work with, however we want to define it. But in essence, you guys are our clients. And we have two levels of clients. One, you guys. So we need to make sure that you're successful with our program, that you're properly supported, that we create these opportunities, the differentiation, everything that we do. And then our second level of clients are those businesses and business owners that you bring to the table. So understanding you guys, we need to understand what some of your goals are. And of course, your goals are consistently to get in front of more prospects. Then again, it's not just about getting in front of more prospects, but of course, it's closing the deals. And if we look at some of the statistics as they exist with regard to the individuals that we work with, understand that not everybody we work with has a background in working with businesses and business owners. In fact, a reasonable percentage of the people we work with simply desire to work with businesses and business owners. In fact, they never have before. And yet, even those individuals with no experience, no background, no book of business, this is just their first entree into that space, what we're going to do is we're going to take them from traditionally low close rates and low conversion rates as salespeople. If we look at the insurance industry, for example, the statistics for that industry are such that the average advisor is going to take a cold prospect to a closed case somewhere between 2 and 5% of the time. We'll take the same advisor using our program dealing with business owners, and they'll take the same cold prospect to closed case, but instead this time they're going to experience an 82% success rate. And again, that's the stuff you're going to hear on our weekly mastermind calls as advisors come on and say, you know, I've just started with Stryde. I've been out there and I've reached out to 10 people, 9 of which have signed a contract, 8 of which have signed a contract. We're moving forward, and here's the deals we're doing, and so on and so forth. So we understand the goals. We help facilitate that. Again, number one goal for a lot of folks is to get in front of more prospects. But then again, we need to have those solid conversion rates to close more deals. And when we close more deals, we make more money. And of course, that's the objective for everybody. So let's talk about what a partnership with Stryde looks like and what it is that we facilitate. One of the taglines we use is to sell more than ever before. And of course, that's what we were talking about on the previous slide. We're talking about closing more deals. And to understand what it takes to sell more than ever before, the key to all of it is to establish differentiation as one bullet point, naturally, that you see on your screen now. Differentiation is critical. No matter what you're doing, no matter how unique, whatever it is you're bringing to the table is, there are still a lot of individuals, a lot of competitors, a lot of institutions, a lot of folks out there that do something similar, if not the exact same thing. One of the things that Stryde facilitates is massive differentiation. There is nobody else, period, that does what we do. Now, there are institutions out there that do bits and pieces of what we do, but nobody that does collectively 10% of what we do or more across our spectrum of services, platforms, and programs that go into our comprehensive consulting program. And there's nobody that does it our way. So it's an utterly unique program, causes or promotes extreme levels of differentiation. The next thing we're going to talk about as we work our way through is an enthusiastic welcome. If you guys think about your various backgrounds and what you do now, the question would be, how often do you experience an enthusiastic welcome? And what that means is people that want to see you as opposed to people that tolerate seeing you. And in all forms of sales, I think that we understand all too often we're in a position of tolerance. In fact, quite often in intolerance, when we're lucky, tolerance. What we see with our program, and again, what you hear from your peers as they join us on our weekly calls, is that they encounter an enthusiastic welcome. And that's really a unique situation. It's something that excites a lot of people. And again, you're going to hear on the weekly calls, it breathes new life into their working career. And that's just fantastic. Finally, faith through validation. One of the many exciting things about our program is that so much of sales, and just sales in general, it doesn't really matter what type of sales, whether they're financial products, tax products, legal products, business service products, whatever the case may be, so much of sales is a faith-based transaction. You know, it's a buy from me, invest in me as a consultant. Just in some way, shape, or form, it's a me. Put your faith in me, and at some point down the road, I'm going to prove why this was a good idea. You're going to see long term. Faith-based transactions, while most of sales are in fact faith-based transactions, faith-based transactions are not the easiest thing in the world to execute, and that's an increasing reality. When we look at the instant gratification nature of the psychological buy trends in our country, we look at online purchasing, we look at social trends. There's all of these things that point to the fact that as tough as faith-based transactions have been in the past, they're becoming increasingly so by the day. And so one of the other exciting things about our program is we develop faith through validation. You guys are going to see this as we work our way through. There's no risk to the client up front, and they get the benefits that we postulate or that we suggest. They get them very, very quickly. So not years and years or decades and decades, I mean literally days and months, they're going to see the benefit in a tangible fashion. When I say tangible, I mean in their hands. And that's very, very exciting and very unique to we as an organization. So of those 3 bullet points, the one that we started on was differentiation. Let's talk about differentiation. The ability, of course, when we talk about differentiation, it's the ability to stand out, separate, distinguish yourself from the crowd. And that, as I said earlier, and as I work my way through here today, is what you're going to see. When I talked about before, the fact that there's nobody else that does what we do and absolutely nobody else that does it how we do it, that is an incredible level of differentiation. When you see it tied in with everything else, you are going to see the benefits associated with it. Real intangible benefits, as I talked about a moment ago, when we don't have to engage in faith-based transactions and point to hypothetical, theoretical, and all types of other benefits that so often we have to point to, it's more difficult. And in this case, we don't have to. Your clients are going to see real tangible benefits in their hands in a matter of days, weeks, a couple of months, whatever the case may be. Again, we're going to work our way through that here in a moment. No competition. When we talk about no competition for these business owner clients, again, what we mean is there is nobody that does what we do. There's nobody that does it how we do it. And that puts you in a position where you have no peer. Let's talk about an enthusiastic welcome. One of the best ways to understand an enthusiastic welcome is to understand that what it is that we're bringing to the table and what it is that you guys are now going to be able to work with and be able to offer is something for which there is universal application. 100% of the business owners you talk to, let me say that, for 100% of the business owners and businesses that you talk to, our platform is applicable. When we talk about applicability, what you're going to find is it's very, very rare that a business service, a business strategy, a business product is in fact applicable to a wide range of individuals within that space. And whether it's a business or private consumer, whatever the case may be, applicability is rarely at exceeding 50%, and what we do is 100%. Not only does it apply to everybody you're going to talk to, it's universally pursued. What do I mean when I say universally pursued? I mean they're already looking for what it is you're bringing to the table. So here's the big reveal, guys. What we do, or the tip of the spear, there's actually a lot of different things that we do, but the tip of the spear relative to what we do is what we call cost remediation. The technical explanation or definition for cost remediation is the avenue through which we seek to reduce, refine, or recapture operational costs and or engage in tax mitigation. I know it sounds incredibly complicated. It's not. And put in simple terms, what it is that we're doing is making the business more profitable. In fact, when you look at the privately held businesses in this country, and so I'm not talking about Fortune 5s, and yes, we have them as clients as well, but I'm talking about privately held businesses, what we see is there's 28 million of them out there. And when you look at these businesses, you understand that these business owners and these privately held businesses that aren't necessarily bogged down with board meetings and shareholder meetings and all of these different things, they're folks like you and me. They run their business. They go home to their families. What they do throughout their day and throughout their nights and on their weekends and every other passing moment of their lives is they all seek out opportunity through which to make their business more profitable. And again, when I talk about 100% applicability and I talk about it being universally pursued, that's what I mean. Enhanced profits applies to every single business and business owner in America. And not only does it apply, of course, it's already being pursued. When you think about the daily activities of the private business owner, what you see is every consultation they pay for, every person they hire, every book they read, every seminar they attend, every single thing they do is geared around making their business more profitable. So when you want an enthusiastic welcome, one of the best ways to get it is give them something that applies to them, that actually applies to them, and that they're already after. In fact, when you look at our platform, the hardest thing associated with our platform relative to success is learning how to raise your hand. After all your years in business, you're so used to engaging in sales process and sales language and all of these different things that you do to try to force a sale. The biggest difficulty we have is detraining or detuning the advisors and the agents and the people that we work with out of the old sales practice and moving into a conversational consultative approach and just learning how to raise their hand. and say, I'm the gal or I'm the guy that you've been looking for. I'm the person that's going to bring these opportunities to you. The icing on the cake, no risk. What does that mean? That means that we're going to work with each and every business owner that you already work with, each and every business owner that you pursue on our dollar. Everything we do on a contingency basis, which means we put our money where our mouth is, we spend the money on behalf of the client, and we only make money after we have found money for them, and only as a percentage of what we find. If we don't find anything, if we don't facilitate any benefit, then we make no money, and it was my money, that of mine and my partners, that we spent, not yours, not your clients. And again, we've been doing this over a decade and a half. Clients range from mom and pop Main Street type clients all the way to Coca-Cola, IBM, Microsoft, Caterpillar, Nike, Adidas, and so on and so forth, and everything in between. And those are the types of opportunities that our platform facilitates. And again, guys, I go back to zero competition. Nobody else out there that does what we do. So very simply, we're going to create incredible levels of opportunity with, through, and for you guys. And by virtue of that, you are going to differentiate yourselves by bringing to market, bringing to your clients and your prospective clients things that actually apply to them, things that they're already after, and you're going to bring it in a no-risk scenario. This is our software platform. I'm going to work my way through the presentation, and we'll back into this. Usually we go through this at this point, but I don't want to completely monopolize the call. I want to get through the basic presentation and make sure that we're still good on time before I go through the software. But in the event that we don't get through that, and that won't be my decision, that'll be your guys' decision, understand this. Everything I'm talking about can be mastered in an hour. I know that sounds crazy. I'll tell you guys, our training, our software system's the easiest thing in the world. You guys can attend a live call. I think we have it recorded. In fact, I'm certain we have it recorded, where my 10-year-old son ran this software, we call it Presentation Pro, and got a deal done at a landscape company. It's the easiest stuff in the world to master. It's very common sense. It's very basic. It's a series of questions, simple imputation of data. It does everything for you, and it makes you appear to be the expert after 1 hour training. We, in fact, do 4 hours of onboarding, an hour a day for 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday is the first hour training. We train you guys how to use Presentation Pro, languaging and positioning. And I will tell you that each week as new advisors come to work with we as an organization, 62% as a long-standing average, some weeks is more, some weeks is less, but as a long-standing average, 62% will submit their first piece of business after the first hour training. So this is non-disruptive. It's not going to get in the way of anything you're currently doing. It's just going to add to it. And in the process of adding to it, it's going to create more opportunity like this. This is a real case. There's discerning minds on the call right now. I know there are. There are every single time we do this that are saying to themselves, looks great, but I'm sure this is the biggest case these guys have ever done. Guys, you will, again, be attending the Friday calls wherein your associates are going to talk about multi-million-dollar commissions on a single case. This is not a big case. This is an everyday case. And again, you hear it week after week, and as you come on and start working with we as an organization, it's what you experience. So this is an example of an advisor who had been through the training, and as you would hear him speak on the Friday call, he'd been with us for a grand total of 10 days. And on his 10th day, he went into the auto dealership to do the seasonal changeover of tires on his car because he was moving from the winter to the spring and wanted to get the winter tires off. And while it was going to take more than 2 or 3 minutes, because he wasn't first in line, it wasn't going to take all day. So he wasn't going to leave his car there and come back. Instead, he chose to kill his time by meandering around the showroom. And in doing that, he saw certain things that we'd pointed out in training. Car dealerships are a great type of client. In fact, anybody that's in business is a great type of client for who we are and what we do. But they're a great one. We talk about them. We talk about many different industries. And so he walked around and he saw the same stuff we trained on. He saw the things that we've talked about. And so he called the manager over. Manager came hustling over because generally speaking, when somebody calls for the manager, it's going to be a problem, and didn't want, you just in a sales environment, they don't want negativity to spread, so they tend to hustle over pretty quick. And to hear everybody tell the story, the sales manager was very, very pleased that it wasn't something negative and was intrigued by the running of the software. He asked the advisor to hold on for a moment, said, "I'll be right back," and he ran upstairs. When he came back down, it just so happened the owner was there. He apologized to the advisor and asked the advisor, hey, would you mind starting over? And looked to the owner and said, like I was saying upstairs, you really need to see this. And so we ran through Presentation Pro. The advisor ran through Presentation Pro software, and this is what it found on the spot, was that advisor was able to initiate a relationship with this owner of this car dealership. Turns out, these are the numbers for the location he was standing in. Turns out he owns several of them. Turns out he gets to start the relationship by handing that business owner a $413,000 benefit via a cost segregation study. Again, I highly doubt that anybody on this call knows what a cost segregation study is. But what you can't understand is this. While every single corporate property owner in America qualifies for a cost seg study, 92+% have not executed it. I'm going to get a feel for what I talk. Now, guys, we are not about when I say no competition, purely open market. And when was the last time anybody on this call had the opportunity to start a relationship by handing somebody $413,000? And oh, by the way, make $6,200 for the right to do it. Then we found in the form of a merchant audit, another $37,000 in benefit. Now, guys, we are not merchant processors. We're not partnered with a merchant processor. We don't work with any vendors. What we do is we go into businesses and we find opportunity to put money back in their pocket. So when we talk about a merchant audit, we're not changing who does their processing. We're not doing anything other than going to that processor and finding the money they're taking that they shouldn't take. See, the federal government put out some statistics a couple of years back that said every single year these merchant processors take somewhere between $70 and $80 billion a year from business owners that they shouldn't take. We go find it, and we put the money back in their pocket. When we do, we get to keep it. It's very, very simple. And so the advisor made about another $5,500. Well, we are a very comprehensive business consulting firm, so in the process of reviewing everything, we uncovered that they had recently taken out a corporate loan, and an expensive one at that, to do some of the upgrades in their facility. We were able to refinance that loan, save them thousands of dollars every month in a form of interest they're no longer paying at a lower interest rate, and put another $21,000 in the pocket of that advisor. And then finally, by virtue of doing all of this and putting these benefits in their hand right now, and their tax planner validating it and becoming an advocate of it right now, we turn around and we're in a position to do the SRP, Stryde Retirement Program, and the advisor made another $156,000. Not a bad day by anybody's standards. But it didn't end there. As I said, we interfaced with the tax planner to do the cost segregation study, to do the SRP, to do some of what we were doing. Tax planner loved what we do, as they tend to. They wanted to join Stryde, as they tend to, and he did. In this case, as a male tax planner, he did in conjunction with this advisor. Approximately 1,800 clients, 60% of which are business owners, all of which are being shown our program, all of which are generating revenue for this advisor. This is a really old slide. So that number, that bottom one is off, where it says since inception they had scheduled 41 discovery calls. Since the inception with this slide, there's over 1,000 discovery calls that have been scheduled. The next thing you're going to see, and there's a lot of things that we give you here at Stryde. If you're associated with Stryde, this is your client self-registration page we're going to make for you guys. It's included in your membership with Stryde. We're going to give you this and instruction on what to do with it and how to use it. We have had advisors using this tool since March when we released it. And we give them the language and the position, everything they need to put this thing out there in social media. So Facebook, LinkedIn, et cetera. And I mean literally point and click. You guys don't even need to cut and paste. And I will tell you that on a monthly basis, this generates somewhere between 8,000 and 12,000 new business client opportunities. Now, these are people you've never talked to. These are people that have no idea who you are. They've looked at this on your social media and via the language we've given you and the different things that we've done while you are sleeping. They have self-elected to enroll in the program and become your client. You now have the opportunity to come back to them and work on that relationship that they're already paying you to have. That's what this system does. But it doesn't stop there. It also works to educate them. And every step of the way, there's opportunity for enhanced education, and there's business intelligence built into this platform. And that business intelligence asks very basic questions, or what appears to be basic questions on the surface, something that they don't mind answering because it appears to be questions that coincide with the service they're signing up for. And it does. I say appears, that kind of carries a negative sense with it. It does, but it does more than that. And the more than that is that it's asking questions that will determine whether or not they qualify for additional of our services. And by the time you're made aware of them, I mean moments after they register, they're already being qualified and moving into and scheduling calls with you and making deposits on additional services that they qualify for. Now, beyond this, there's one other component. The paperwork you see here is the WOTC paperwork. WOTC is an acronym for Worker Opportunity Tax Credit. With the Worker Opportunity Tax Credit, one of the things that we're doing, of course, is getting a tax credit for that employer for the people they hire that qualify. We are the only platform that exists. I want to make sure that's extremely clear. We are the only platform that exists that allows the WOTC initiative. When I say initiative, the federal government put this thing together and has added to it year after year after year to make it more comprehensive. The idea behind WOTC, at least the federal government level, is that it should lend itself to your decision-making process so you're able to put these disenfranchised people to work and to give them an advantage in the workplace. The problem is everybody else in the industry, every other institution in the industry, only steps in after you've hired the person. So it turns into a lottery system. I hired you, now let's go see if you qualify. It absolutely does not tie into your decision-making process. And again, that was the whole point, was it's meant to tie into your decision-making process so that you can help these disenfranchised people get work. Now, it started as disenfranchised, it's franchise, but it's spawned out to covering all sorts of different groups of people from all sorts of different socioeconomic classes and backgrounds and employment histories and so on and so forth. But all of that being said, everybody else's system is that lottery system I just described. It's after the fact. They've got 28 days to process paperwork. It's wrought with error. It's wrought with difficulty. And what you'll find is somewhere between 10 and 16% of the people that actually qualify result in a tax credit to the business owner. So not only is it a lottery system, it's a very, very unsuccessful one at that. With our system, we're the only platform that exists where they get to actually check in real time before they hire the people. So instead of it being a lottery system, they actually get to use the WOTC tax credit as it was intended. And they get to let it tie into their decision-making process. In other words, if I have 5 people, I've narrowed all the resumes down to 5 people who are, in essence, let's assume, carbon copies for one job. So I've got 5 applicants, 5 that I love, but I can only hire 1. Well, wouldn't it be a huge benefit to me as an employer to know which one comes with no benefit, which one comes with $2,200, which one comes with $4,000, $6,000, or $9,000? If these people are equal in every other way, of course, I'm going to bring the one in that gives me the biggest tax benefit. So it finally ties into my decision-making process as it should, and it helps me as an employer defray the risk that I take on every time I hire somebody new, not knowing how well they're going to work out. Here's the other thing that it does. When I screen all these people, and again, in this example, I'm going to hire 1. For me to hire 1, I've probably received somewhere between 50 and 100 resumes. What happens to all those people I don't hire? Well, guys, they go out and they apply for more jobs. They go out and they reach out to more employers. What we do as a company is we reach out to each and every one of them, let them know that they were screened, they know they filled out the paperwork, and give them a certificate to stick in their resume. And we train them why they want to do this. They want to do this because when I show up looking for a job, if my resume carries with it a certificate that says, hey, HR department, hey, employer, hey, whomever's reviewing this, I come with a tax credit. Well, that means you, as an applicant, have an infinitely higher likelihood of being hired than everybody else. And so they do this, and they do it in mass. And again, the average person pursuing a job will send their resume out to somewhere between 30 and 50 businesses. Here's the exciting part, guys. When they do this, when you've received or taken on a client and they're screening and they're using our program, every person they don't hire walks away with our certificate. Every person that walks away with our certificate sticks it out to between 30 and 50 businesses. statistically speaking, greater than 60% of those businesses will enroll in our program. And then everybody they don't hire leaves with a certificate, and they stick it in 30 to 50 businesses. And this just keeps going and going and going. And every time this happens, you guys get paid. So it just keeps going and going and getting bigger and bigger and broader and broader. And so that's, again, one of the additional benefits associated with our program. And guys, there's more than I could possibly hope to cover on this call. I'm going to hand back to you guys and have you direct me. Either we've covered it well enough and we've consumed enough time, or you'll want me to run through the software and show a sample of what it looks like. I'm going to, again, give that back to you guys, that decision.
Well, I would like a sample of you running through the software. I want you guys to see how easy this is because they have some software that you walk through, and it takes them right down the business owner through a series of questions, where you get to where you can hand it off. Once you hand it off, they take it from there. Jeremy, you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say maybe before he did that, if we wanted to open up for any quick questions, or if maybe we just want to wait until after he goes through it and do questions then.
It's up to you guys.
Are there any questions currently from what Jason had went over, or that are out there that he can answer before he goes through the demo of the software?
Yeah, I have a quick question. This is Keith here, and I'm not on the computer, so I can't actually see what's happening there. So as far as the software, thanks, Vince, for explaining that first process. One question is, how long does it typically take to run through that first step with somebody? Obviously, I'm sure it can vary based on type of business or speed of response. And then I guess the second question was, as part of the program, I don't know if I missed that at the very, very entry or is on a slide, but what does it mean to be part of this? You're going to cover that after the demo.
I will, absolutely. In fact, I'll cover both right now. The demo I'm going to run is that step one. In fact, I would argue that there's really two step ones. They run in concert with one another, parallel to one another. One is I'm going to get out and go face-to-face with business owners. And the other is I'm going to put our system, that self-registration system, self-enrollment system that I was sharing on the screen that, as you said, you're unable to see. I'm going to put that to work for me full-time while during the day, am out there seeing business owners face-to-face. So you can have two parallel yet, what's the word I'm looking for? Two parallel yet mutually beneficial platforms working for you at the same time. You have the online version, the social media version that's out there reaching people that you're going to struggle to reach any other way, and they're going to self-enroll. And then you have the face-to-face methodology where you're going to be out there having your conversations with folks, building strategic alliances, working directly with the consumer space, the business owner community, and that's what actually I'm going to run through right now. Now, the social media one, you stick it up there, you follow the languaging, and by the day you're going to get responses. The personal one, the one you're going to get out there and run, it takes a matter of minutes to run it. It's the shortest survey you're ever going to find. In fact, while it's the shortest survey you're ever going to find, it's the most comprehensive. In fact, we've done over 250,000 in-house studies. So we talk about the audits, the different things that we do, over 250 that went into building the algorithm behind the software. In addition to the algorithm that works toward the estimates, we're also tied into regional, state, and federal tax databases in real time. So as we go through and we work this thing, and again, you're not here to see it, you're not able to see it right now, but I believe it's being recorded. You'll be able to see it, and as you register, you're going to get it firsthand. It's an app that you can put on your phone, your tablet. You can run it off your laptop like I am right now, and it's a really incredible tool. It doesn't exist anywhere else. We built it. We own it. It's not a white label of something else. But it's this incredible tool that in real time is able to point out to an employer on the spot, hey, listen, this is what we can do for you. And it's a rather incredible thing. In fact, there's psychological buy trends. There's all sorts of studies. It's incredible how sophisticated and the learning components of this software. There's truly nothing like it. It's your sales material. It's your survey. It's your presentation. It's your document collect. It's your contract. It's everything. It's your calendar. It's everything tied into one. And it really, really facilitates a clean and successful sales process.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So these are sample clients that we have in here. Of course, the names have been changed for the sake of privacy. There's different ways that we can run this. Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure before I got too far into it. We're going to say that we're doing this in person. Boy, I thought. Okay. Yeah. This is such that I'm going to have to type, and you guys are going to watch my horrible typing skills. So it's going to ask you here, what type of market is this? A warm market, a networking group, referral partner, cold call, other. We'll just do that. First name, JJ. Last name, JJ. Title. I see how easy this is. CEO. Industry. The reason industry is important is, again, it's going to help us tie into different databases. Address is important. Again, same thing. We're tying into the appropriate databases. Tolerate my slow typing here. Okay. Construction, purchase costs, things of that nature of the business. So we're going to look at specialized tax stuff right now. Let's say that the building cost $4.5 million. Total renovations, $1.5 million. Our property tax, let's say $65,000. Our payroll, $2.5 million. Now with this, so as we work our way through, you guys are going to see up here, you can see my cursor moving around. This is relevant to cost seg study. This is also relevant to cost seg study. Property tax audit right here. Payroll is going to be R&D, hired incentives, things of that nature. The new employees will be WOTC and other hired incentives. Let's just say 30. Expense reduction side of things, estimated annual credit card amount. Many manufacturers, businesses for that matter, they do credit card processing. Again, we're not a processor. We're auditing those folks. So annual, let's just say $2.25 million. Not a ton. Swiped or not swiped, are they doing it in facility or out of facility? This one we said was a manufacturer, so they're generally not there. Waste and recycling, a manufacturer, even a small one's going to have a reasonable bill. Let's just say $750 a month, not a ton. Annual work comp, $70,000. Are they self-insured? No, they're not. Very simple questions you can ask. Yep, we already entered that. So it's validating. Yep. Again, double checking everything that we did. Yep, all there. Oops. Next, not back. Credit cards, yep. Again, you see it's just validating everything and working our way through this very, very quickly. Again, we've already answered all of this, just confirming the answers are correct. And here we go. We get to tell that business owner from an itemized standpoint what it looks like we can do for them. In this case, for those that do not have the visual turned on, it looks like we can put about $645,000 in their pocket. Was not a huge employer. It wasn't a Coca-Cola, an IBM, a Microsoft. It wasn't any of those institutions. It was an everyday business. And how do you like that? All of a sudden, it's freezing on me. Well, my screen is now frozen. I can back up, but for whatever reason, I'm having trouble going forward. We've been having a little bit of trouble with our internet speeds all day. The folks in IT are working away, and that's using up a little bit of bandwidth, but shouldn't be impacting this. Anyhow, what you guys...
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's pulling up here. Can you, for everyone on the phone here, he's running through an app, and it's going through a logistical questionnaire that's very easy and very simple. From there, it's bringing up calculations of like how much they can actually help them. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Stryde doesn't actually
do the work. They just show like they're in between the companies that can do that. Like for like the credit card processing, you go, hey, we could save you money, but you could go through us and we could submit a deal through the credit card processing. And they have all these other things, the tax benefits and employee benefits, stuff like that. And once you go through that, you say, look, we can actually help you. You hand it off to Stryde. They actually take it from there and call the business owner and run through there. But and then you get paid a commission. Could you explain like why the commissions are so high on this?
I can.
Because some people be like, hey, that's a really high commission, like the 156,000 and all that. Can you explain like how that commission breakdown works down and how that's why this is such a good moneymaker?
Absolutely. Actually, I can explain a few things going through what it was that you just touched on. A point of correction is that we don't outsource anything. Everything that we do, all the services that we offer, we own. So we're not an intermediary. In fact, Stryde is made up of two entities. It's the face of two entities, IBSP and GMG. My partner in Stryde owns GMG, and I own IBSP. So GMG is the tax side of the house, IBSP is the financial side of the house, and they come together to allow Stryde to offer what it does. So no, everything we do, all of the audits, all of the services, all of the tax credits, the proprietary retirement program, we do all of that in-house, which is great then because in that we're not an intermediary, there's no other entity, going to the other side of your question, there's no other entity that needs to be paid that is taking a good chunk of the income for work that's being done, leaving us with a percentage to then have an operational budget for ourselves and, of course, then pay a commission to you guys. So the fact that we do everything in-house affords us the opportunity to pay much, much larger commissions. The commissions that are paid are based out of the fees that are charged. So if we look at a cost segregation study, for example, we'll charge 10% of the benefit that we find for the business. In a merchant audit, for example, we're going to charge 50%. So 10%, the two examples I gave were the least expensive audit, and the other one I gave was the most expensive audit, and everything else falls somewhere in between. R&D, for example, is 35%, 15% for WOTC and other hired incentives, and so on and so forth. So they run the gamut, and when we look at the contracting outlines what the percentage is, and again says that there's no cost, and it goes no upfront cost, pointing out that we're paid on contingency, and it goes service by service, outlining what that contingency fee is based on the specific service, the specific audit. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it made sense to me.
Yeah, and so you guys are, so then thanks for the clarification. So you guys are doing this, and these percentages on how much money you're saving them ends up into some very sizable commissions, and it's very simple because you guys are handling, you're just trying to get the client to you through this questionnaire in this app.
That's correct. Absolutely correct. And you guys understand, I mean, the reason the program is so successful is because it's logic-based. And what I mean when I say logic-based is it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the call. Every single business owner in America is looking to be more profitable. We bring enhanced profitability to the table. We do it without disruption so that the business owners, for example, we have owners that take in hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars, and they've spent a grand total of 45 minutes on the phone with us. They haven't had to disrupt their operations. They haven't had to pull people out of what they do on a daily basis to work with us for hours and hours and days and weeks and weeks. This is stuff that can be executed very effectively and very efficiently without disrupting their practice. And between that, no downtime, no disruption, which is a soft dollar expense. Between that and the hard dollar reality that the only money that's being spent is that of mine and my partners, again, it logically makes sense to pursue these opportunities. So that's where you see the program being so effective, especially compared to any other form of sales, because it just makes sense, and it's a win-win scenario. We're not going to put our money out there if we're not confident in who we are and what we're doing, and we don't have a massive track record to stand behind. And both we and the client are incentivized to go out and be successful. Because if we're not, there was no benefit for them, and on our side, we lost money if we're not. So it's that symbiotic relationship and that mutual benefit type relationship that makes it work so well.
One of our sales reps has a couple questions. Jim, are you there? Jim?
At this time, also, I'll hand the visual back to you guys as well if there's anything you want to put
stay
up.
on it. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Just keep it there. Jim had a question. He says, does Stryde or the business owner fill out the paperwork to get these savings? Jeremy says that Jim is muted. And
yes, the signature, it's echo sign. So were I not sitting here frozen right now, and that's, guys, it's not indicative. I'm using an offline service. I'm not actually on the app. The app has never frozen in tens of thousands of runs every single day. I'm using an offline version because I'm on my laptop, and it's just easier than running it off my tablet, which would use the online version. But it's spinning right now, trying to get going. As we get to that portion of the app, what it's going to do is it's actually going to bring up the contract. It's going to say no cost reviews, et cetera, and they're going to sign right there on your tablet. They can use their finger to sign. They're good to go. Then from there, we go to the doc collect page, and we type in. We ask the business owner, well, who's got your depreciation schedule? Oh, that's my CPA, John. Okay, great. Let's get John's email address. Who's got your merchant statements? Oh, well, that's Sally in HR. That's Sally, my assistant. Okay, great. Get her email address. And when we click done, we've gone through every itemized piece of documentation that we need. We've associated a doc collect person to go get it from. When we collect done, that individual receives an extremely professional email. The business owner is copied on it, so they know it's the real deal. They know it's legitimate. And it says, hey, we've got a follow-up meeting with Mr. Smith on Wednesday at 4 p.m. I need these documents uploaded in our secure system, see attached, so that we can execute and be prepared to give the results, provide a results summary on that call. And when you click done and they receive that email, 99 times out of 100, before you're back in your office, all that documentation's already uploaded in our system, and our staff's already working on it.
So basically, you're just walking them through the app, getting the information, and who to get the information from, and it's free to the business owner. And from there, it will show them the savings that you can help them with, and then your team takes over. The sales rep doesn't have to really touch it after that, right? They just get paid on it?
Everything you said is accurate, though I will clarify it's not free to the business owner. There's no upfront cost to the business owner, and it does bear a cost when we found the benefit. So the only time it's going to be free is if we don't find a benefit. Then, of course, it was our money that got spent, not theirs.
Okay, and then
everything else was correct.
And then, Jim, you're unmuted now. You had a question about commissions?
Yeah, I was wondering if it's a one-time commission, or is there a subset of monthly commissions, or both? And then is the commission based on actualized savings or the ones that are found?
Okay, let me start with the first one. Certain of our services are one-time. So the property tax audit, for example, we're going to go out and we're going to audit. We're going to attend all the hearings. We're going to negotiate with the city, town, municipality. We're going to do all the work. And let's say that the first year we save them $20,000. We're going to keep 10. They're going to keep 10. We keep nothing thereafter. So you guys are paid every time we take in money. So we're paid once on that service, so you're paid once on that service. Merchant audit is another extreme. Our contract is for 3 years. We're going to keep half of the savings every month for 3 years. So you're going to get paid every month for 3 years. So it all depends on the service, and you're educated on, and you have you guys are educated on how that works as we work our way through, and you're paid according to your Agora comp schedule. Now, as far as what everything, realize this, how everything is paid out. Excuse me. It's paid out on realized savings. So whatever we bill them for, because as a percentage, we bill them based on realized savings, or realized tax benefit, or realize this, realize that. Again, as outlined in our contract, you guys will be paid off of, on the outlined numbers, you guys will be paid off of what we bill for. So nothing's hypothetical in nature. It's all real and tangible.
Troy, you had a question? I think are you unmuted?
Let me unmute him. He is muted here.
Yeah, I think you have some bad background noise.
There we go.
Hey, Troy, you're live now.
All right, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you Great.
Perfect. So my question is, you had mentioned it sounded like credit card processing, and you also mentioned a refi. Are these services that Agora could fill in order to save money based on the audits that you're doing?
Absolutely. In fact, for certain of our services, they'll parallel stuff or be similar to something you guys are doing. If you're doing merchant processing, then there's one of two ways that you can handle the merchant audit. One is you can use it to point out the fallibility of the system they're using so that you can then go ahead and switch them over to an alternate provider. And of course, that works to undermine the current processor when you point out fraud's an aggressive bit of language, but when somebody's taking something they shouldn't, well, there's a lot of words to put to it. So anyhow, when you can point out the fallibility of who they're using, that's a feather in your cap. The other is if you just wanted to omit that, well, you're sitting there with your tablet in front of you, not in front of them as you're asking the questions. You just enter no as you're working your way through and don't even ask that question. And then it won't calculate it into everything, and it'll leave it off of everything, and you're just going to look at every other service. So it really depends on how you want to position it, how you want to use it, how it's going to work best for you.
Are there other services that you could imagine might be services we might be able to provide as an alternative to what they are doing?
Work comp. Our work comp audit is, again, the same thing where work comp waste audits, if you were to become a vendor or distributor for a work comp provider or a waste audit, kind of same thing. You could use our audit to undermine what they're currently doing or who they're currently with, and then use it as an opportunity to make an alternative suggestion and win over that business. It really is going to be contingent upon the types of business you guys are pursuing.
Right. Thank you.
Yes,
what
sir.
I love about this is you're walking them through simple questions, revealing the problem, and then creating an answer. And these are a bunch of things that you would probably never even get into. And the app walks you through. When I first was presented with this, I probably saw this I think over a year ago, and then Steve and I were talking and working, and we worked hard to get this in Agora, and it's taken some time and negotiations, and I just really felt, because the whole goal of Agora is to be a business solution provider. Yes, we work really good with the internet marketing and marketing aspect of things and loans and merchant services, but this is stuff that we didn't cover, and I wanted it covered because the whole goal here is for every rep on here to have enough tools to go in and really help the business owner save money, make money, help them in their in their marketing. And this is some stuff that we would never even get into. And they have simplified this. They've been doing it for 15 years, a great track record. And the commissions on here are incredible. And, I want to spend a little more time, really talking and getting people used to this because, I really care about everyone on the phone and making a living, making a commission. And some of these commissions here and also your commission is based upon saving that client money. And, they're actually, and then that money can go, and I love Keith's mentality, taking that money and then pushing percentages of that back into their marketing. So when you can save them this much money, you can take portion of that and apply it towards massive marketing campaigns. That company, you are really in a position to not only, you could take that company over the top. And this is stuff a lot of business owners don't even know about. And Stryde has made it so simple, and they're so cutting edge. Like I said, there's no one out there like this. And when I saw this, I knew it was a game changer, and I had been waiting for this point to get it in here. And it's a perfect fit with what we're doing with the business solutions. Troy, you had another question? Something about getting trained. So this is an introductory call. We're going to be developing more training on this. Plus, he said, that there's training that you can be a part of on Fridays. And we also built this into our commission structure. So if you have people in your team that go out and do this, this is, we'll begin, which I'll be going into also. Someone has some loud background, Jeremy, whoever that is. I think it's Troy.
I got it.
So we built this into the commission structure also. So can you imagine how much money would flow in your downline and your team volume? And we're going to be going over a number of you I've been talking to. We've made some changes in the comp plan, and this can be incredible to have some people underneath you making some sales. And not only can you make a lot of money, but you can make a lot of money on people in your downline. And what this can add to the Agora comp plan is it's just amazing. I'm here to help all of you make a great, great living and residual. So what we have here combined with everything else we have going on, it's just a knockout. And if you could focus on what we've already taught you in this right here, you could make a beyond great living. Jeremy, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I do. So I just to kind of piggyback on the answer to Troy's question that you were just addressing is we do have this structured a couple of ways. So I think the most ideal way is for each and everybody on this phone call. So Troy specifically, since you asked the question, in the marketplace we do have a link where you can actually go and enroll directly with them. You'll get your own app and all your own tools, and they'll go and they have the weekly training. So to kind of answer your question. And then another way that we do have it set up as well, and the commission structures will be a little bit different between the two, is if you guys don't want to enroll directly and you want Agora to handle it, and we can work with Stryde and work with the client, we can have it set up that way too, where you would bring the customer to the marketplace and, me or somebody here at Agora would take care of that customer for you, going through exactly what Jason had just showed you. So we have two ways. You can enroll directly with Stryde, become an agent with them as well through Agora, or Agora can handle it for you as well. So, Troy, did that answer your question as well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And we'll go into some more detail.
Yeah. This is our first call of introduction, and it is. I have walked through the app, and it is very simple. It's very, you walk through you take the app, you walk the customer through that app. The questionnaire, it's very simple. Like I said, they've been doing this for 15 years. I got this down to a science. And so what we did is, like what Jeremy was saying, is we have it in the back office here where you can use the Agora app, walk through, or you can go, if you really want to get more intensive training, you can do that also. The commissions on here are huge, and we worked out some sweet deals with them and making this thing happen, and also for your downline, getting those people dialed into it, and then you making overrides on them. So this is our first. What I'm trying to say, this is our first introduction, and we'll be doing more development here. But this one here, I really wanted to bring to you guys because I feel that it's a great, great benefit and solution to the business owner, and it's a great opportunity for you to make a really healthy sized commissions and really strong team building. So back to you, Jeremy.
Yeah, so I mean, like Vince already said, we're trying to bring in our opinion, the best opportunities for you guys to go out there and really succeed. And with everything else that we've been talking to you guys over the weeks, and SEP and Sotellus and the starter packages, we have a lot of really good services in there already that are unique and are great door openers. But I think by adding Stryde now to our arsenal, in my opinion, it's probably the ultimate door opener. Keith made a great point earlier. I had already had the same thought. Taking these credits and these savings these business owners are getting, and then taking probably a small, I'm sure in the grand scheme of the savings, if we're talking in this example, $645,000. If we took just 2, 3, 4, 5% of that, probably not even that much, and applied that towards some really heavy marketing for them. The business owners are going to love us. I mean, they're going to love us already by introducing them to Stryde software and showing them hundreds of thousands of dollars of annual savings. But then we're going to take basically that free money and have them invest that back in the business to grow it tenfold. I can't really see how this isn't just a successful combination all the way around. This really just gives us a huge leg up on all the competition. I know, Jason, you've already stated for you guys there really is no competition. I highly believe that.
True.
So with any of our other services that we offer, if there is competition, once we put this marriage together, there's not going to be any competition. I mean, this is a no-brainer, guys. I'm super excited about it. I mean, as we're on this call, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I got this business right down the street, existing clients that that I've worked with over the years. I can't really think of a single business owner right now that I went to and talked to that they wouldn't be like, yeah, let's take a look. You can find me money, and it's not going to cost me anything to potentially find out if I have hundreds of thousands of dollars that I'm basically throwing down the toilet. Yeah, let's do it. I see no objections possible with this product.
Well, guys,
that's all that I. Yeah, go ahead.
I apologize for jumping in there. It's just, obviously you can hear it in my voice. We've been doing this as long as we have, and it's still exciting. It is because we get to feed off the excitement of the new folks that come in to work with us every single week. And like I said, there's nothing more exciting than joining us on our Friday call and just hearing peer after peer after peer come on and talk about, I just made more money in a single transaction than I've made in my entire career. And where things are going and the alliances that they're getting. And like I said, that all predates and has all been around. We've been doing this for a long time. All of that predates the viral platform that we just rolled out 2 weeks ago today. And you just really need to think about that for a moment. There has been, marketing platforms and news and stories and press about virality for years now. But the problem is that it never really existed. And I'm going to make the very bold claim that Stryde was the first institution in existence to create a true viral platform, one that goes on in perpetuity that actually requires an outside source to stop it. Otherwise, it just keeps going and going and going. That's the true definition of virality before it was bastardized by everybody out there wanting to claim that they had viral marketing, yet by definition, it wasn't viral. And when you look at it and think to yourself for a moment, wait a minute, all I need to do, and I would not suggest doing this, naturally, to be successful, you want to put up the largest footprint you possibly can. But technically speaking, all I need to do, and you guys will have access to this video that we ran, and it shows a 1% success rate repeating itself again and again. And you guys note that even email has a higher success rate. Paper mail has a higher success rate than 1%. 1% success rate means you will reach 1 million businesses in 18 months. And that's the crazy part about this. Every single business that you pick up, just by virtue of them going through the process of hiring and choosing who to and not to hire, that every single person they don't hire ends up turning into your viral marketing network. They're taking your banner out there to every single business that they submit a resume to. And greater than 60% of those businesses are going to sign up, and they instantly, right then, are a client of yours. And then every single person they interview and don't hire goes out to 30 to 50 more businesses. And the pattern repeats itself again and again and again. And again, that's just one component of who we are and what we do. And the cutting edge nature of what we've built, we're actually rolling out an even more potent or expanded component of what I just described here in 2 months. So that's an example of who we are and what we do. Very, very excited to work with you guys. You get the app. You get your hub, which is your information and resource center. You get our portal, which is, it's very, very unfair to call it this because it's far too restrictive to call it this, but it's the best description I can give you guys until you get in and look at it yourselves and see how crazy it is. But you get a portal, which is your CRM on steroids and growth hormones and anything else you can think of to define it. You get your own customized website. You get all of that, all of the one-on-one trainings, all of the mentoring, the apprenticeship, just everything. And the platform costs $99 a month, or, a good example is night out to eat once a month at an average restaurant at best, and you can quit at any time. And again, guys, there's no other institution, I don't care who it is, and I don't care where you go and look, there's no institution in the country, and I know this for a fact, I'm confident no institution in the world that can lay claim to the fact that they've put on success stories 52 weeks a year for 10 years. You can hear from their own people. There's just flatly nothing like our program. And that's not just me saying that. That's the field saying that. And so we'd love to have you guys come work with us. We'd love to work with you. Love to have you on our national calls. And with that, guys, I apologize. I have a 7 o'clock meeting. I was good to run a little bit long, but they are waiting for me outside of my office right now. And so I'm going to jump at this point in time. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
thank you guys
so much, Jason.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So just to recap real quick here, when you look at hiring tax incentives, waste and recycling reduction, workers' comp premium reduction, credit card demand fee overpayment, basically you tell them they're paying too much on the credit card, which can lead right into a credit card conversion, payroll tax credit, property tax estimated, helping them on their property tax, commercial property owner incentive. There's so many incentives here, and they made it real easy. You just fill that thing out, get them on the phone with them, and let them go to work. You're just basically getting the business owner interested and showing them how they can save, and it doesn't cost them any money. So you have a perfect funnel. You're giving away something for free. You have the magnet offer, and you bring them in here. But this is big ticket items, and the customer is only paying if they're going to be saving. So it really is a no-brainer, and it's just awesome arsenal to have. And the amount of money you can make in just one deal could set your commissions like over the top. And could you imagine yourself and a team of people underneath you just cranking these things out, bam, 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 on top of all the other sales you're making? We're talking everyone here is making a lot of money on a regular basis and really helping business owners, because I actually do have a heart to help business owners, and I feel this product is something that will really help them. And the guys over at Stryde, look them up. You know, they have a great reputation. Steve, are you on the call here? I don't know if you're muted. Steve is the one that actually brought this to us, Steve Rose, a good friend of mine.
I'm good.
Steve, is there anything?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I just unmuted myself.
Yeah, is there anything
I
you want
just
to add into
unmuted
this
myself.
call?
Well,
yeah,
can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. Yeah, of course, I've been on the call, and that program that Jason laid out there right at the end that they rolled out 2 weeks ago, I was, of course, on that launch when they rolled that out. That's the viral program I told you about on the phone, Vince. That is a killer. I have never seen anything that brilliant, where they're literally going to turn every applicant out there that's looking for a job into a marketing person. And if you're the one that has that account, then I don't think he said, but that certificate that they're going to be carrying around that shows what they're worth as a tax incentive to the next person that owns them, that's going to have a link in it that they're going to go to, and the businesses are going to go to that they happen to distribute that to, and it all is linked back to you. So if you're the originating agent for that account that hired that person or didn't hire that person that is now carrying a certificate out there in the marketplace, that all gets linked back to you. Those are all going to be your clients when they figure out what's out there, and they eventually become a client. That is, I couldn't sleep the night after I was on that call 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, this is an incredible opportunity, and it's something that can really help a lot of people.